Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Tuckcast. I am joined today by my man Black Jack Tamborski and Dale Big Diesel Collins, as Jack likes to call him.
Diesel.
I am Bobby the Bearded Wonder Bennett. Here with
Is that
you
what they
today.
call you?
I don't know. I had to come up with something on the
I call
fly.
you the brawny guy.
I couldn't be the only one without a nickname.
Who is they?
So we're here today, and in this beautiful weather, we got a little snow falling, a little rain mixed in. Not sticking yet, but we'll see what happens when it goes that way. How you guys doing? Everybody having a good week?
Staying warm.
My head's cold.
My head is cold.
Got a fresh shave. My head's cold.
So we've been getting a lot of calls about the water, because obviously we've had some rain this month. And everybody's been asking, is stuff still fishing well? You know, how's the water looking? Obviously, from a day-to-day standpoint, things look better or worse or whatnot, but kind of just wanted to put it out there to everybody that we have had people still catching fish. So even in higher water conditions, it's fishable. I mean, our buddy Bob, he caught some beautiful browns last week. Like those ones he posted, those were awesome. So, go wet a line. That's the only way you can catch a fish.
Yeah, it's not hard to, find some clean water even when it's been raining. You just kind of find that right spot. So.
Yeah. So, real quick, we'll maybe just talk about some stuff that we've got coming up so everybody knows. I don't know if we've got anybody in Michigan listening, but here in, 3 weeks, thereabouts?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
We're going to the, what's the name of that show?
Midwest Fly Expo.
The Midwest Fly Expo, somewhere near Detroit.
Warren.
Warren.
Not Warren, like Warren, North Carolina, but Warren.
It's like
you
Ward
have to say
Burton.
it.
It's hard to.
Right on.
I was a wreck fest.
What?
A wreck fest.
Jack don't know NASCAR.
Nope.
That's a NASCAR thing.
Shout out to
Love
Ryan
left
Newman
turns.
walking out of the hospital.
Yes.
That was awesome.
Yeah, that wreck was crazy, man. I mean, he
Obviously.
took it to the temple. The way that car hit him, that was rough. That was a little
That
scary.
was like
actually.
Mike Tyson biting an ear off. It's just
Yeah.
like, holy cow, did that just happen?
But anyways, I think we probably want to do just a quick fishing report.
Sure.
So Dale's going to probably jump into that a little bit, kind of help everybody out, and hopefully that'll help y'all over the next couple of weeks with the conditions we've had.
Yeah, so the good thing about this rain is that it's been keeping our water pretty warm through these storms. And on the backside, the temperatures will fall off and we'll get those winds out of the north, and it'll get really cold really fast. But, man, we're getting into that time in February where we get some really great hatches, some great topwater fishing to be had out there on some of these warmer days when the water's really nice. And Monday, Jack and I were walking up some trails with the dogs and my kids and Jack's wife, and we found some active fish, holding in water, feeding. So, and that was high elevation stuff. So the water was crystal clear. So really, really some good sized brook trout, really, is what they were.
What elevation do you think that was about?
Like
give or take?
3,500, probably.
I don't know.
It's 55 degrees up there.
Yeah.
And they seemed pretty active.
Yeah, I'd say the high elevation stuff, you got a good 4-hour window to hit active fish on sunny 55, 60-degree days. So quills, blueing olives, all those black caddis are hatching. So that's a fun time. The tuck is not really wadeable, so only get out there if you got a boat. Wade where you know your limits and feel comfortable. But a lot of good fishing coming out of the national park, low elevation stuff, clear water, decent water levels. So, yeah, just get it if you want to get a nymph down on the bottom, or throw a good dry fly setup up top. And the most important thing is you're out there.
I don't know if y'all have had this. I've had a couple people come in saying they've already seen some yellow sallies.
I've heard that too.
I haven't seen any.
I haven't either, but I believe them.
I wonder if they know what yellow sallies look like.
Well, that's what I'm wondering. Like, are they confusing it with something?
I'll take them for their word.
It's kind of early, I feel like. But, I mean, it has been a little milder this year, so maybe that's part of it. Who knows? I went for a little bit of a hike yesterday by a stream, and, man, it was the same thing, crystal clear. It was crazy how clear that water was.
You got to watch those high elevation things, though. When it rains, like it comes a good rain, those things will flash quick. Like a flash flood if you're in there, and it can get you in a bad spot quick, especially if you got any stream crossings to get back to your car.
You become part of a log jam.
Yeah, I mean, you seriously could. So you gotta be careful of that high elevation stuff in the wintertime with these rains. There's no roots to soak that water up, and that water just runs right off.
Yeah. Well,
88 out the gate.
I didn't mention that. By the way, Shannon is feeling a little under the weather today, so that's the reason you're not hearing old Big Mess on here. Shannon Big Mess Messer. That's what we call him. That's his nickname. So for all y'all that tuned in to listen to him, I'm sorry. You just got to listen to Jack today. So we got a great question on, I guess it was either the last podcast or the podcast before that.
Yeah. One of those.
What was the gentleman's name? Kevin?
Kevin.
Yeah,
Kevin.
So Dale's going to read the question here.
Kevin, appreciate the question, man. It's a really, really great topic. So Kevin says here, I've been wanting to, going out to Madison late June, hoping to hit the salmon fly hatch. I've been wanting to know the best way to carry on fly rods and fly boxes. TSA does not help much with vague information. As well as most airlines. How do you travel with all of your fishing gear when y'all go? So great question there. Directly addressing the question, I don't think too many people in TSA fly fish. So they're not too, they've got other things to fry besides thinking about that. And sometimes fly fishing gear just gets left off and the cross gets listed before fly fishing. So, because it does say specifically you can carry on a lacrosse stick.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
But they don't say anything in regards to fly fishing. So
yeah.
So great question. We're actually gonna go over a lot of this stuff today and just kind of turn it into a whole episode. And so,
yeah, I mean, I think it's such a detailed thing. There's several items we can list. Obviously, as bags and gear and stuff, but it's also kind of those tips and stuff that we've learned.
Yeah.
Over the course of a few years traveling with stuff. So
but we'll Kevin, when you're packing to go, you can certainly carry those fly rods on to make sure that they're in great condition when you get off the plane. I have checked fly rods in my luggage before and they came out okay. That was in some really strong aluminum tubes, so that helps. But go ahead and check your fly boxes. I think is probably the easiest way to do that. Go ahead and put them in your checked bag, just to avoid any confusion.
Well, it just holds you up in
on.
security
Well,
because they're going to search the bag if they're in there. They're going to pull you to the side and dig through it and pull everything out. So it just saves you time going through security. It's easier just to check it.
Yeah.
And they'll probably still rummage through your bag. Every time I've taken my pack or fly boxes, because, you got nippers and hemostats or whatever, they every time I've taken that, they've always searched my bag. So I think it just goes through the metal detector and they go, that looks fishy. And it is fishy.
Now, is
I
that,
like how you did that.
Yeah.
Now, Bobby, is that when you carry it on or when you check it that they go through it?
I've always checked mine. I've never carried a fly box on.
Okay.
So I've always checked it. And they put that little piece of paper in your bag saying, we rummaged through your stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Basically is the short way it says it. So
Okay.
have you ever carried fly boxes on, Jack?
Not to my knowledge, but I get asked about it a lot, like if it's okay. And I would say probably not. With a big streamer hook, they probably don't want anything that big. You might get away with a small hook here and there, but not something I would recommend.
Yeah. And if you're like me, like if you got your pack, I even have like a little pocket knife in there. And that's one of those things like you forget to take out if you go through security, and then they take your knife, and it's a cheap knife, but still it's, whatever, $20 that you're not going to get back. So I think it's easier just to kind of check that. But I've always carried my rods on. Other than that one time me and Jack went to Montana, we did pack together and put them in.
Yeah, we did share that bag.
Yeah, but I've always carried them on. And it's actually funny. Some of the flight attendants, as soon as you come on the plane, they go, "Where are you fishing?" Like they see it all the time, especially if you're going to Montana. Connecting through Chicago or Denver or Dallas, those flight attendants see rod tubes all the time.
I'm not. This is my presentation poster. What's fishing?
Yeah.
I just found the tube at the office.
What's fly fishing?
My boss said here.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we'll go ahead and get into it.
Jack's got a little list we made out here.
Yeah, we've got a couple good items here that we take with us. And we'll start off with the Patagonia Black Hole Duffel Bag. That's one that Dale really likes. It's kind of got that water-resistant outer coating there. So that's great for just throwing it around, if you're in the back of a pickup truck going down a dirt road. It's not going to get your luggage all dirty.
Well, that's it. It's really well made. All the seams are quadruple stitched. It seems like it's not going to fall apart. Stuff as much stuff in there as you can, and it does get. I've got the 120. They make different sizes. I think it's 120, 90, and 60. I believe
Probably something like that.
liters. So the 120 gets heavy. They do make a version with wheels, so that's nice.
They do?
Uh-huh.
I didn't know that.
Yep, and obviously they've got really cool colors. I've got the black, which, when you're looking at when you check that thing and you're at the luggage carousel trying to find that thing, it's just another black suitcase kind of. So kind of wish I had a different color that was easier to spot on a conveyor belt. But
I mean, that's probably what's nice about fish ponds.
Yeah, the Thunderhead duffel, that one's going to be a bright orange. Pretty hard to miss.
They got
That's
that water
right.
camo now, too. It's in water.
that
yeah,
water
that
camo is
riverbed camo.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's so ugly.
I love it.
I
Man.
like it too.
I like it a
Well,
lot.
So
Dale, you're just not on the river
black hole
enough.
duffel. I did. I packed a fish pond mid-length net in there to take to Montana one time, and it barely fit.
Yeah.
The handle was like poking out a side, and yeah, I mean these guys at these airports, they just trash these bags,
Yeah, they sling them.
and you can tell this thing had been abused, but it did not poke a hole through the ripstop. So. But that waterproof capability or water resistance comes in handy. Bobby and I are headed down to Argentina, and we've been told, hey, it's a good idea to have some luggage that's water resistance because it is going to be in the back of a truck and going down a dirt road for a couple hours. So who knows what the weather is going to be like that on the luggage.
Yeah. So those are both good items. That the black hole from Patagonia or that fish pond Thunderhead. They both have shoulder straps. I don't think we mentioned that.
That's a
So
good
you
point.
can throw that duffel up on your back walking through the airport. So you're not carrying a 120-liter duffel like a suitcase.
The fish pond is fully submersible.
It is. Yeah, it's got that really nice zipper.
So that the Patagonia one is not advertised as fully submersible, but I guess in the event that Thunderhead thing becomes a life-saving.
It could be a life preserver.
That's right, man.
That's
You
right.
strap that thing on. Man, that thing would hold up like 20 bodies. That thing's so big if it was full of air. I mean, it definitely is. It'd be like a life raft.
Man.
So, but those are two good ones. Obviously, you kind of got to pick which one you like better. And for all these items that we're talking about today, obviously you can call us. We can talk about it over the phone or come by, and we can order anything that we don't have in stock for you, and basically drop ship it to you if we need to, or you can pick it up here too. So what do we got? What's the next thing there?
Yeah, not too far off from the Thunderhead duffel, we've got the Grand Teton rolling luggage, which that is not going to be the waterproof, outer bright orange.
It's more the
kind of thing.
classic.
That's a Cadillac.
That's
Yeah,
right,
it's the Cadillac classic rolling.
It's a big bag,
Bag.
but
It's a suitcase.
You can fit 10-foot rods in there pretty comfortably.
And we fit mid-length nets.
Yeah, the fish pond mid-length net fit in there just fine. So that one is a great. You and a buddy could split it. Me and Bobby, we put all our rods in that. It's been a good one.
Yeah, I mean, I like it. It is big because it does hold 10-foot rods, so it's long. And when it's packed full of waders and boots and rods and reels and
10-foot rods broke down in 4 pieces.
yeah,
In
yeah.
a travel tube, or does it have its own tubes? Just to be clear.
Yeah, good point.
Travel tubes not included.
Yeah.
Now, one thing I really do like is that it's divided down the middle, so you can kind of keep your gear in one section, and then on the top, maybe throw all your clothes.
Yeah, so you don't have some muddy boots or something
That's right.
touching your nice, plush shirts.
Speaking of boots, I think it was Steve Keeble we were talking to in the shop one day. I think he was telling me he's flown before wearing his wading boots.
No way.
Yeah.
I remember that story. He did. Yeah. He
so-
said, I just wear them so that it keeps the weight down.
Yeah, because
That's a
you
great
got a
idea.
weight limit on your bag that you can check.
Yeah.
So, and obviously, and we'll talk about some good boots to fly with, but wading boots can be heavy.
They can.
That's right. What have we got next here? Well, rod tubes for carry-on. There we go. All right. So we've got these Sims Bounty Hunter rod tubes. They come in the single and the double. We've got them both here at the shop.
They hold a 10-foot, don't they?
Yeah.
I
yeah.
do. They
Yeah.
do. So if you're not looking for the full luggage compartment, that can be a great option. If you wear a backpack, you can carry that along with it. So I guess
Yeah,
that
it's got a
counts as your
shoulder strap.
personal item.
You can.
But
yeah.
I've always just carried them on, throw them in the overhead
Yeah.
luggage.
And that's a good option because, you can rod and reel in that case all by itself. And there's probably enough room where you could stuff some tippet and stuff in there if you wanted to too. If you wanted to, I don't know why you do that, but you might. Who knows? Whatever.
You never know.
So.
All right.
Never know when MacGyver.
So that
might
one's pretty
need
simple.
it.
Everybody knows the rod too. That one doesn't take too much explanation, I don't think.
Yeah, so next we've got the Patagonia Middle Fork packable waders. I don't personally have any experience with these. What about you guys?
I've tried them on.
Yeah? They
Yeah.
comfortable?
I haven't. Yeah, no, they're fine. They're, the feet are different. If you haven't seen these, the feet are, and I don't know the actual material off the top of my head, but it's almost kind of feels like a substitute of some type of rubber, which I know, Patagonia is super environmentally friendly, so it's not a rubber, but it's not the standard neoprene booty that you normally feel. And what that does is it helps them pack down. They actually pack down into a sleeve, like almost a stuff sack that is, I don't know, maybe 10 inches by 4 inches, 5 inches. I mean, they are super small. Obviously, if you're me and you're a big boy, it's not going to be as small as Jack's little stuff sack since he's like wears small clothes or something. But, it's still super packable and they're super light. Do y'all remember the weight on those?
I forget the
I'll look it up right now.
single digits of ounces they are.
I'll pull it up here.
Yeah, I think they're. I think at the Patagonia sales meeting Shannon and I went to back in June, they told us the warranties are less than 1% of the units that have been sold. So
Pretty impressive.
Yeah, I mean, so you think, because my worry initially was, how's that going to be walking through a briar patch?
Yeah, that's right. They were pretty thin.
But they hold up really well. So I've been impressed with those. But yeah, definitely don't take up much space.
They weigh, and this is in a large, they weigh 26 ounces. That's pretty impressive.
So
That is.
a pound and a
Pound and a
half.
Half, yeah,
roughly.
give or take. Yeah, roughly a pound and a half. That's pretty impressive.
Compared to a G3, what's up?
And the, I don't even know. I'll have to look that up. Hold on, I'll look it up.
4 pounds.
The stuff sack is, I had it here on my phone. The stuff sack is approximately 8 by 13 inches. So I was a little small on that, but that's still small as heck. 26 ounces. Let's see if I can pull up some G3s here. I want to say the G3s are closer to 50 ounces. I want to say 48, something like that. Y'all keep talking while I look this up.
Hey, one thing, just to go back real quick to the rod transport stuff, the bigger vaults that Orvis and Fish Pond have that are over the shoulder, they hold your reels, fly boxes. What are they called? I've got one. I use it.
It goes over your shoulder.
It goes over your shoulder, and it's also got a handle.
He's talking about the rod carrying case that carries reels and rods all in one. That opens up.
Oh, that one there.
Fish
got a
Pond
separate-
Fish Pond
Fish Pond's
makes
got one,
it.
Orvis.
Yeah.
It's got a separate section, I think.
That's on the list, I think.
I didn't see it.
We talked about the rod tubes, but
Oh, yeah. Well, we'll put that on the list. So the G3 layer, to jump around here, it weighs 45 ounces in a large. So that all depends on, So you're saving 20 ounces, which doesn't sound like a lot, but you're talking a pound and a quarter. And when you're trying to stay under 50 pounds on a checked bag so you don't have to pay extra,
It all adds up.
it adds up. So anywhere you can go, I mean, it's like hiking the Appalachian Trail, you're not cutting pounds, you're looking at cutting ounces when you do that, just so you can keep it. So it's the same thing when you're traveling. So yeah, but talking about that thing that Dale was talking about, it's basically like it carries rods, reels. I mean, me and Dale both have one. We put tippet in it. We put fly boxes in it. I've got shooting heads for two-handed rods in there. I mean, it's incredible how much you can fit in those.
It doesn't hold rod tubes really well, but it'll
Yeah,
hold
you keep them in the
rods
sock.
in the sock, and then it's got a separate zipper compartment that they stay separate from the boxes. So, it's not something you want to just like.
I wouldn't
throw
check
and-
it.
Yeah,
I would carry that on
that's
for
right.
sure.
Yeah.
That'd be something you carry on. But you could, I think mine holds 10 rods.
Mm-hmm.
oh wow.
So, I mean, they hold a lot of rods, but obviously most places you travel, you're not going to take 10 rods. So, but you can put 2 rods and a bunch of other stuff in there, So you throw like your buffs in there and, a winter hat, pair of gloves.
Souvenirs.
Yeah, I mean, it gives you, it's an awesome little, an extra pair of clothes probably would fit in there if you only had a couple rods in there.
Yeah.
So that's a good little carry-on item to, if you really don't want to check your rods and reels in a checked bag, that might be a great way for you to carry stuff on. So what's next on that?
We've got a waterproof backpack. Very versatile there, just out fishing can be a great carry-on bag. We've got them from Fish Pond and Patagonia. Dale, you wear the Patagonia one. You wore that out to Montana with us
I
last year.
enjoy traveling with that thing. I know last year I two trips up to Montana. I've taken that. It serves as my carry-on. I stuff as much as I can in it, and then when we go out for the day fishing, that's pretty much got fly boxes and anything I need for the day fishing, sandwiches, tippet, all that stuff, and you can strap rod tubes to it. So, and the Fish Pond does as well. And I think they're Thunderheads, aren't they? Thunderhead backpack.
Yeah, Thunderhead sling and backpack
Yeah.
or whatever. Yeah.
So, no, that's great. And it just goes with you everywhere. But, it's kind of along the lines of that minimalist ideas where you try to have a utility piece that can serve other functions throughout the trip.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, that's it. It's a dry bag. It's a backpack. It's everything. That's kind of what's cool about it. Because you definitely want to have something. If any of you ever fished in the mountains, whether it's here or you're out west or going somewhere international, you want something when you're not by your car that is going to keep your stuff dry, because at any time you get a rain shower. So
fall in.
Or
You
fall
just
in.
never know.
Yeah. So it's nice to have that, even on a boat, on a float
I
trip.
actually have had this thought, man. I know this is going to sound crazy, but wearing that thing fishing, you never know what might be behind you sometimes. Like, you're not really paying attention to what's behind you, but I thought, man, if a bear was to come up, if I curl up,
Where are we going with this?
if I curl up as a bear's attacking me, he's going to have to get through that backpack before he gets to my vitals.
Yeah, I don't think you'd have a problem.
Just saying, it's one more thing to slow him
One
down.
more layer.
If that makes you feel a little better, Dale, then
Hey,
And
you know
there you
what?
go.
If 18 ounces on a middle fork wader makes you feel a little better, then that's cool too.
it'll let me outrun you, I'll tell you that.
Hey, I just gotta last the longest.
Oh,
Marathon runner here, folks. But yeah, I mean that's the thought I've had. Is it's a little more protection than a Cordura. Slice through that stuff, Cordura.
That ripstop. It'll
Rip
keep
stop.
it. It'll keep him.
Yeah, ripstop. Right. Oh, Grizz is laughing.
Bear proof.
I'm pretty sure Grizz has laughed at that ripstop logo.
What else you got there, Jack?
We've got the taco bag or burrito bag, depending on your food preference. They're the taco bag from Sims and the burrito bag from Fish Pond.
Are these plant-based friendly?
That was a great question for Bobby. What do you think?
No, they're not. So
Non-vegan.
basically, if y'all don't know what these are, they're it's kind of like a waiter and boot storage thing. We use them just around fishing, our home waters, because they're awesome to stand on while you're putting on your waders, and then when they're soaking wet and you throw them back in the back of your car or whatever, you're not getting water everywhere. So it's nice to travel with that, and you don't necessarily pack it as a bag on the airplane, but maybe you fold it up, throw it in your checked bag or whatever. And so while you're out there for a few days fishing, you have that thing to protect the bottom of your waders while you're changing at the car or whatever, so that you kind of keep that. And traveling back, if your waders and boots aren't completely dry, which they probably won't be because most people are going to fish all the way up till the last day, it kind of protects the rest of your luggage and your other clothes and stuff from getting totally disgusting.
Well, and you hit on it there. Dirt is probably the most damaging thing to our gear.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's abrasive, man.
If you don't wash your waders, you definitely should try sometime. Just put them in the bathtub and wash them, and look at how dirty that water is coming off of them. So, and it extends the life of your gear.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, I believe it.
I was trying to think of a joke there for the bathtub thing. I couldn't come up with anything there.
Yeah, I was
that's what
thinking,
Sims recommends.
I was just in Scotts Creek. I don't know if I want to look at that water.
So yeah, the taco burrito bag. Those are probably our two top ones. And a lot of these items we're mentioning to you, it's not ones that we're saying, hey, buy this one. It's just personal preference. That's the reason we're mentioning that there's a couple different companies that have them, and you kind of got to look at the features and make that decision on what you think are work best for you, for where you're going, or maybe how much you travel, all that good stuff. So, what else, man?
Other than that, what have we got here? Supplemental power. Not really fly fishing dedicated there, but you're on the plane, you want some extra juice. Charge your phone, your iPad, whatever it might be. Always handy.
Yeah, I guess your camera.
Yeah,
like if you had a camera.
Definitely.
So it's something
GoPro.
when you're traveling, obviously we're kind of talking about what to use to get your gear there, but it's just tips and tricks. Make sure you when you have technology and you're going to someplace you don't know what signals you're going to have. how much power you're going to have, where you're going to be able to get power. So if you're wanting to take a lot of video, photography, things like that, it's always good to have that little backup battery that can, get – most of them can get probably 5 to 10 charges on like an iPhone, I would assume. I don't know what it would do on like a camera or something like that, but it's good to have that, or take extra batteries. Obviously, you can't do that for your cell phone, but for your cameras and stuff, plan ahead for that stuff. Now, the bad thing about all that is that stuff weighs a lot. So it's probably a good idea if you're trying to save that money on the checked bag fee is maybe try to carry those batteries. You can't carry batteries on it.
That's the kicker. You have to carry them
So you
on.
have to check them. Oh, you have to carry them on.
You have to carry them on, yeah.
See, I don't
You
travel
can't
with a
check 'em.
camera and stuff. I just use my iPhone when I travel. So
If they're lithium ion, you can't check them.
So lithium ion, you can't check. And all that's probably on the TSA because I'm sure there's a ton of people traveling with cameras.
Oh, yeah.
So you have to carry your batteries on. What about
That's
that
right.
battery pack? Is that a
Yeah, the battery pack, that would be a lithium ion, too.
Yeah, so that one you'd
definitely
have to
carry that one on. It'll save you a little weight in your check bag there.
So, make sure you do that. Any other tips and tricks and things like that when y'all travel that you think about? We talking about Steve wearing his wading boots. I mean, I've kind of worn certain jackets and stuff on the plane because they're heavy, and I know like, man, I'm going someplace cold, so I'll wear it on and then just stuff it in the overhead compartment once I'm on the plane to save weight in my checked bag. So stuff like that, you kind of got to like think outside the box. Like, how can I save that weight? And also to fit stuff. Again, I'm a big guy. Dale's semi big guy. Our clothes are a lot bigger. I can't put as many pairs of pants in my luggage as Jack can. So like I got to figure out, hey, can I fit everything?
So when y'all shared that suitcase, what you're saying is you were 3/4 of it and Jack was a quarter.
I got a quarter.
I wore 3 pairs of pants on the plane so Jack could carry his stuff. That's what happened.
Well, you know what? We mentioned wading boots in Steve's example there, but you do have to think about if you've got a pair, let's say the Patagonia Danners, you do not want to fly with Patagonia
No,
Danners.
those things are heavy.
They weigh a ton, especially coming home. They're going to be still wet, so they're going to weigh even more. But the Sims Flyweight Vibram boot is fantastic. It's very light. The Vibram grips fantastically from my experience, but it drains fast as it dries faster. So think about your boot application. Orvis has got a lightweight boot. The Flyweight is the Sims version of that, and bizarrely enough, Patagonia, even with the lightest wader, they do not have
a lightweight boot anymore. Yeah,
so
it's kind of crazy. And think when you do that checked bag, when you travel out there, like Dale said, the boots might be wet coming back. You probably, I think it's most airlines, it's 50 pounds, right, for a checked bag?
Yeah.
So you might want to be in that 45, 47 range because coming back, you might have a couple souvenirs. Your waders or boots might still have moisture in them, things like that. Something else that you should have that I learned the first time I went to Montana is go ahead and get some rain pants. Good rain jacket, obviously. I think most people that fish already know that. Because Montana is one of those places where when you wake up in the morning, it could be 25 degrees, and then by afternoon, it's 80 degrees. And there is nothing worse than being out there when it's raining and it be hot. It's not going to be 80 degrees, but if it's 65, 70, and you're just on a boat and you put your waders on, like you get sweaty. So rain pants are nice. They're lightweight, keep you dry. They're super simple to carry on the boat with you or in a backpack. And
stuff in that dry bag.
Yeah, stuff in the dry bag. So I highly recommend having, a really good rain jacket, good set of rain pants. And it'll just, because most of these places you're going, you've spent a lot of money, whether it be airfare, travel, hotels, maybe guided trips, whatever. The worst thing is just to have a miserable day because you don't have the right equipment while you're out there fishing. So you want to be as comfortable as possible because you definitely don't want to miss days fishing if you can help it. So what other tips are there? Anybody got any off the top of their head? I would love it if anybody's got tips out there before I let these guys come back in with more tips. Email us, whatever.
Yeah, it's a great question, Kevin.
And we can definitely mention them because, we're not the end-all, be-all to travel. There's probably people out there who traveled much more than us and have a little bit more extensive stuff that could say, hey, this is a great thing I found. This is easy, hard, good, bad. Don't ever do this. But do y'all have any other?
So do y'all think it's better to fold or roll?
Roll
Your
it
clothes?
up always.
I've tried that roll thing. I watched a military guy do it because I guess that's how some of the military teaches is to roll.
If Shannon was here, he'd tell us.
I don't think it saved any room. I tried it both ways because I was like, man,
What came first, the chicken or the egg?
yeah, I don't know. I'm torn. I don't know. I mean, the great thing is if you can do laundry, take half as many clothes and do a load of laundry somewhere in the middle of the trip, if possible.
Yeah.
So
It's just easier to roll up a shirt than fold it for me.
no wonder your shirt's always wrinkled in the shop.
Yeah. Well, hey.
He's a roller.
One other thing, you never want to leave home without it. You want to download your favorite podcast, the Tuckcast. That's one thing we forgot there.
Yeah, you can't hit up the cloud on that airline at 30,000 feet
That's right.
cruising altitude.
He'd be buffering a while, I think.
Yeah,
You can buy Wi-Fi on the plane, right?
Sure.
Who
If you-
wants to buy Wi-Fi?
I mean,
though?
that's kind of my
Come
thought
on,
is,
Bobby.
unless you're doing business or work and you gotta have it,
but yeah, that
download movies,
download
podcasts,
movies.
music, whatever you need before you even get to the airport. Just do it at home. Go ahead and have that kind of planned out. Always download more than you think you need because Jack and Dale can attest to this last year. Their plane got held up at the
Oh,
first
boy.
airport, and it was a debacle. So it's nice to have a little bit extra for
Yeah.
sitting on. How long did y'all sit on the tarmac?
an hour and a half.
An hour and a half on
And
the
then-
tarmac.
And then we walked probably 8 miles around the Dallas airport.
Yeah, we had a long
it was,
time.
It was a long day.
Hey, I did find out why we sat on the tarmac for an hour and a half. This
How'd you
goes along
find
with I got a flight attendant friend.
I know somebody.
I know somebody that knows somebody that stole something. No, this goes back to the media thing, and they had to reboot the system that provides the Wi-Fi.
Are you serious?
Oh, yeah. They told us that.
Yeah, and so we missed our connector
Because of Wi-Fi.
because of Wi-Fi. They couldn't get the Wi-Fi router going, so
That seems
yeah, they had to call
pretty
a technician.
minor.
Yeah,
Like-
it totally is. Like the plane function does not matter whether I have Wi-Fi or not. We can still fly. So
unless
we
the
should've-
Wi-Fi's running those engines.
I mean, that's a different conversation. But if the Wi-Fi is running those engines, I do not want to be on that plane.
Boy, I don't even know what to think now.
So, yeah.
So yeah, make sure you do all that. If y'all have any questions about any of this stuff, call us. We're happy to help you kind of pick and choose and look at and decide and all that. And we're happy to order stuff for you. Is there anything going on over the next couple of weeks besides the fly fishing festival or the fly fishing thing in the Midwest?
We've got a lot of confusion the
Oh,
month
yeah.
of March.
Yeah, let's talk about that a little bit because that is a hot topic.
We've been getting phone calls on this already.
Hey, is it a closed season in March?
I heard you can't do any fishing in March. And it's, valid question. North Carolina Wildlife, they unintentionally confuse a lot of folks with the press that they put out regarding trout regulations in the month of March. To be clear, it only closes the month of March for hatchery-supported waters. So
Now,
where else can you fish, Jack?
Now, Dale, can you tell us about hatchery-supported waters? Is that all water that gets stocked?
So you mean as in like get support from the hatchery?
Yeah, exactly
No.
what it sounds like.
That's right. It does sound confusing, and maybe that's what we should talk to NC Wildlife about is maybe changing the name of that.
I think it's the way they word it.
Right. Yeah. So no, delayed harvest. You can still fish the month of March.
Although it is supported by a hatchery.
It is supported by the hatchery, but it's called delayed harvest. They actually stock fish in March. That first week of March, just about every delayed harvest in the state will receive a stocking, weather permitting. And it's on. So you just have to make sure. One caller said his cabin was on a certain hatchery supported stretch, and I said, "Yep, don't fish out in front of the cabin." But a quarter mile upstream, we would be in delayed harvest and be good to fish all day long. So, those regulations are marked on the diamonds on trees along the roadsides where you can park to access these waters. So just look for those diamonds. If it's green and white in the month of March, just find the one that's black and white.
And it's to the first Saturday in April. So wherever,
right?
So
That's right.
it starts March 1st and it goes to the first Saturday in April. So it could be the 7th of April.
I remember like last year it was, I think.
Yeah, before the waters technically open up on hatchery supported.
It looks like it'll be the 4th of
Yeah.
April.
April 4th.
Yeah. So April 4th is when it'll actually open back up, if you really want to fish those. And I think I don't know if they done this every. Cherokee also closes some of their
There's
water
2
in
weeks
March.
in
Yeah,
the
it's like
month
2
of
weeks.
March.
Yeah, the last 2 weeks of March.
So we might put a post out about that. So if anybody fishes Cherokee, you want to make sure you're not over there fishing any of their tribal water, so that you don't get in trouble there, because they do patrol it. So if y'all have any questions on that, we'll still get a bunch of calls about it, but feel free to call us. And it's extremely confusing. NC Wildlife needs to do an overhaul on that and make it more user friendly in a way that people, that aren't familiar with it can understand it.
Our next guest, Ranger Drick from NC Wildlife.
All right.
Hey, at the end of the day, I know I think in the podcast with Ken, we kind of, I don't want to say picked on, but, we talked about NC Wildlife, how they needed to update regulations. It's not that we don't like NC Wildlife, man. For what they do a fantastic job.
Yeah,
Overall,
absolutely.
they do a great job. It's just, it's just like having a politician or something. You kind of throw out some, critique like, hey, can we get this? Can we do this? Could this be better? And, helping the public understand stuff, I think, is kind of at the top of that list where it's user-friendly.
That's right.
So
Here's a good question. Do I need a trout stamp this year?
Oh, yeah, that's a good one since we're on the topic of this. Yeah. So as of September 1st, 2019, NC Wildlife pretty much eliminated having to have a trout stamp. So now your regular inland fishing license is good to fish for trout in North Carolina. You don't need to buy a separate trout stamp. Now, they did go up on that inland license price, but at the end of the day, it's actually cheaper than what it was before when you had to buy the trout stamp. So I guess they're somewhat offsetting the price of losing the trout stamp and making it up with the inland fishing license, which, again, I think that's awesome because it's less confusing now. Before you had to explain, people like, oh, I got to buy a trout stamp. Well, I'm not fishing for trout in that river. Well, you're still fishing on a trout-designated river, so you got to have it. Now you don't have to worry about it. You just buy one inland license, and you can go fish for smallmouth. You can go fish for trout, all that stuff. So it just makes it easy.
That trout stamp went to help pay for the stocking, like what it costs to raise a fish.
Yeah.
So they're just all consolidating it.
Yeah, so somebody down in Raleigh's now paying for stocking, I guess, even if they're not trout fishing.
Right on.
In a way, they've just kind of
Well, yeah, I mean, hunters and anglers are the greatest contributors to conservation. So
Yeah.
with those permits.
Well, that's cool, man. That was a good question, guy. I'm glad you brought those up, man. That's important for everybody out there. It's a hot topic for the next thing. Do one of y'all mind pulling up the DH stockings for March? Do y'all have that? Just so we can go ahead and mention that, since this podcast will air right before those stockings.
March 4th, I think, is Jackson County.
So we're going to pull those up for you so that y'all can at least have
Jackson
that.
County, we've got March the 4th, April 2nd, May the 4th. Swain County here on the Tuck, we're looking at March the 5th, April the 6th, and May the 5th. What else? Nantahala over there in Macon County. We've got March 6th, April 7th, and May 7th. Anything else? West Fork of the Pigeon here. Where are we at? Haywood County here. That would be March 2nd, April 1st, and May the 7th. Anything else?
How about
Snowbird and Fires Creek? Can you find those pretty quick? Snowbird's Graham County.
Can you read, Jack?
I got to squint now.
Gosh,
Yeah,
thanks,
man, you're getting old. You need glasses.
All right, Big Snowbird there in Graham County here. We're looking at March the 6th, April 8th, and May the 6th.
Cool.
Hey, I'm curious. Mitchell? The Mitchell River? When's that getting stocked?
Are you going to be over that way or something?
Oh, the Mitchell River.
It's kind of fun making him look all this up.
What county are we in there, Mitchell River?
Was that Surrey or
Surrey?
It
All
might
right,
be
yep.
Stokes?
Surrey, yeah.
Surrey. Let's see. We've got March the 2nd, April the 1st, and May the 1st.
Cool.
That's for the Mitchell River.
Fires Creek, Clay County.
I'm having
It's funny to watch him do this. I don't know why.
I got to squint hard. Let's see. All right. Clay County there, Fires Creek. We've got March 6th, April 8th, and May the 6th. We got a theme going on here that's all the first week.
Hey, what about Shelton Laurel?
All right, now, Dale.
What about the Green River?
You're cut off.
So all those are on NC Wildlife. Is that where you were at?
They're on NC Wildlife. I actually just pulled up our Instagram page. I was reading it off of a recent post there, so you can check it out there as well.
What's our Instagram page? Go tell them how do they get that?
At Tuck Fly Shop.
There it is. Facebook.
Tuckaseegee Fly Shop. We have 2 pages. Check out Silva too. Yeah.
And
Hashtag.
what's our website? Let's do it all.
TuckFlyShop.com.
Throw the plug out there.
Don't forget to hashtag us in your pictures. Hashtag TuckFlyShop. Or if you're listening in, hashtag the Tuckcast.
There it is.
Awesome.
Well, I think that probably wraps this one up, man. I don't know
Jack,
if there's anything else.
You successfully named about 12 out of 19 delayed harvests in the state.
You did good, man. That was awesome, pulling them right up.
I can read.
That's sweet.
I've been working here for 5 years. Come on.
Folks, the phone was 3 inches from his face, so he could read, but he does have to hold the phone 3 inches from his face.
I think after we finish this, we might change the settings.
He's going to have that big print.
That big print setting.
Go into my accessibility settings.
Which I actually have mine set. Well, maybe I don't on this. The old phone I had it set. It was nice.
Got to get 200% zoom.
Yeah, it does make a difference. Well, we appreciate everybody listening.
Tight lines, folks.
If you have any questions, give us a call. Happy to help you in any way. And look forward to seeing you here in the shop and on the water.
Stay cool in that 285 traffic.
Take care.